Pa danas nam u goste dolazi Erikson. Za one koji ne znaju, to je recimo pisac znanstvene fantastike u rangu Georgea Martina, kojeg svi znamo, jel, po HBO seriji Igra prijestolja, koja se snima kod nas. U svijetu fantastike on i Erikson su recimo liga za sebe. Kako je Erikson došao ovdje, obično iza takvih stvari stoje mjeseci rada, PR-a i kako to već ide. Mi smo imali tu sreću da se čovjek odmara u Opatiji. Mjesec dana ima radni odmor, čovjek piše knjigu i igrom slučaja zapravo prolazeći pokraj knjižare čovjek odlučio da bi se mogao malo podružiti eventualno s ljudima, tako da je to ovo jedan vrlo neformalan događaj. Meni osobno jako drag i mislim da svi ljudi koji dođu da će biti ugodno iznenađeni njegovom osobnošću, jer čovjek je vrlo pušten i spreman na razgovor.
I was invited here a few years back for the Lepernicon convention, and I had such a great time. Even then, I came here early. I came about 4 weeks early to work on my novel Fall of Light, and it was a great place to write in Opatija. And so when I had a chance to come back again for another 5 weeks, I came back to Opatija, and I've written a novella, and I've already started another novel. So it's been very good for me in terms of a place to write. So I enjoy that very much. I tend to write in cafes and restaurants and bars and things. And quite often in the city that I live in, I can sometimes feel as if I have sucked the creative juices out of the local places that I go to all the time. And so I go to a new place and the energy is always good. And it fires me up and it fills up my fuel tanks, and I'm allowed to sort of start something new. And the environment is very important for me. I like to write where there's a crowd of people, and I like the background conversation. It doesn't matter if I can understand it or not. It's just the presence of people around me seems to really encourage my writing. The first thing that needs to be said, at least from my point of view, is that it is much harder to write a fantasy novel than it is almost any other form of fiction, including contemporary literary fiction. And the reason is you cannot assume anything out of the reader. In other words, when you're creating a world, you have to provide all the details, whereas in something like a contemporary fiction novel, if you mention the city Paris, the reader has an idea of what Paris is like. Or if you mention characters who drive a bus or are soldiers or spies or whatever, we all have an idea of what that is. In fantasy, you have to invent all of that. So the roles that the characters have in culture and society around them, the nature of the civilization, where it is technologically in terms of, is it sort of Roman, is it medieval, is it 10,000 years ago? So all of these things the writer has to actually address. And when you do that, you have to have enough details in there to make it feel authentic, because that's the job. Because everything else you're creating, especially in fantasy, has things like magic and dragons and things that don't exist. And every detail that feels real and natural supports all of those imaginative creations that are sitting on top of what is a basic story.